So I have a bunch of applications here running in Docker. I have things like an NA10 instance, MariaDB, Jellyfin, and so on. These are all private services that are only accessible from my home network. This portainer.multimedia.local domain, this is only accessible if you are on this network because I have a local DNS setup that can resolve this domain. However, I want to safely expose the NA10 instance to the internet so I can access it from wherever. And the safest and easiest way to do that is through Cloudflare Tunnels. And I have a video about this that explains all the theory behind the subject and why you should use Cloudflare Tunnels. So go check that video out for a detailed explanation. In this video, I'm just going to show you a practical example of how easy and quickly you can set up Cloudflare Tunnels in Docker. So here I'm on the Cloudflare dashboard. You need to scroll down until you see this Zero Trust menu. Click on it, it takes you to an entirely different page. And here under Networks, you can find tunnels. I already have a couple of tunnels, but for this demo, let's create a new one. So creating one is very simple. This warp connector is a new thing that's apparently in beta. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to select Cloudflare D. We're just giving it a name, and I'm going to use the name of my server, which is multimedia. Okay, now we can select Docker, and here it gives you a command that you can run to install Cloudflare D on your Docker server. But we're not going to use that. For hosting all this application, I'm using Portainer, and I'm using what is basically a Docker Compose file. Let's quickly convert this command to a Docker Compose service. And that's very simple. First, I need to create a new service. Let's call it Cloudflare D. Here I'm going to use the image called Cloudflare/Cloudflare D latest. Let's set restart to unless stopped. And the command to run after starting this container is tunnel run. And let's add the token as an environment variable. The token can either be passed in as a parameter to the command or as an environment variable called tunnel token. And here we will use a variable syntax that Portainer supports, which is $, curly braces, and the name of the parameter. Let's keep it tunnel token. For this to work, we need to add a new environment variable here called tunnel token, and let me paste that token I got. And that's it. I update the stack. And as you can see, the tunnel is now connected. So let me just show you how simple this is to use. Here in my Docker Compose, I have a service called NA10. And if we scroll down a bit, you will see the container. Let's take a look at the logs. So here you'll see that it's accessible on port 5678. So all I need to do is go to my tunnel, click add a public host name, add the subdomain NA10, choose from a list of all your domains that were added to Cloudflare. I will choose this one. It's an HTTP server and the host is NA10 on port 5678. So why does this work? Because Cloudflare D is on the same network as the NA10 service, and Docker creates DNS records for all its service names. So Cloudflare D can resolve this domain on the same Docker host. Click save. Then we try to go to NA10 and give it a few moments to propagate the changes. And there you go. Actually, this took like a couple of minutes to propagate because essentially what the Cloudflare tunnel does is create a new CNAME record on your domain. And these DNS type changes take a while to propagate. So after a couple minutes, this application can be accessed from anywhere. So that's how you allow external access to services hosted in Docker in a safe and secure manner using Cloudflare tunnels. Don't forget to subscribe.